Hey everyone, excited to be back for this week's edition of Frequently Asked Questions for Commercial Real Estate. In today's video, what I want to do is answer a question that I got recently from one of my LinkedIn followers, and that is, what exactly do you do or what strategies do you pursue to build your personal brand on LinkedIn and ultimately close more business? So in today's video, we're going to highlight those exact strategies that I've used in the past and even to this day to be able to do that, and hopefully you guys gain some value from it as well. So before we dive into this video, I'd greatly appreciate it if you can like and subscribe to this channel. It really does help with the YouTube algorithm and ensures more and more people can hear this message and learn about the many facets of commercial real estate. So now you've done that, go ahead and like and subscribe below. Let's go ahead and dive into this episode. All right, so in today's video, we're going to highlight some of the strategies that I've used in the past and currently use in order to continue to build my brand and ultimately close more business in the commercial real estate space. Now, I'm assuming you already have set up your LinkedIn profile, so you've already, highlighted all the different things that you've done in the past. If you have some featured posts, maybe you incorporate that. You have a professional photo, and you've done everything you need to do from an optimization standpoint to make sure that your LinkedIn page is presentable. So now that you've done that, we're going to dive into some of the nitty-gritty strategies you can do to leverage, or you can leverage in order to build your personal brand. So to start off, if you're new to the space, I highly encourage you guys to review the leaders within the space. So I would encourage you guys to find the people who are active in the commercial real estate space on LinkedIn, that get a lot of engagement, that have a lot of followers, and create a list of those individuals. Typically, I would recommend anywhere between 20 to 40 people in the space that you deem to be experts. If you guys want to check out the CREI summit list, that's usually the people who have the most followers and most engagement on LinkedIn based on a ranking system that they have that's proprietary. That could be a good starting point for you guys to leverage. But essentially, you'd create a list of those 20 to 40 individuals, and then from there, you would provide a link, right? You'd have two fields, one with the name, the other with the actual link to their LinkedIn. And over time, what you want to do once you have that Excel file is to start organically engaging with their posts. So I would encourage you guys, anytime there's a status update for these individuals, take 15 to 20 minutes in the morning, review the status updates, maybe review, like, and then engage with their post and add some commentary that's actually of value. Because essentially what you're wanting to do over time is to build trust with these leaders within the space by you continuing to engage with their posts. And ultimately their audience, that is also pretty sizable, will likely also see the fact that you are regularly engaging and providing value on their posts, which can then lead to opportunities for you to expand your reach within the space. So that is my recommendation to you, at least to start off. Along with that, if you guys have the opportunity to meet these individuals, whether virtually or in person, I would highly encourage you guys to do this. After engaging with their posts for quite a bit of time, I would send out an invitation, say, hey, I'd love to connect with you. I respect what you're doing. Please, let's grab a virtual coffee, or if you're local or in the regional within the area, maybe go grab a physical coffee with them, because there's no better way to build trust and have people like you as a person than to actually physically meet them and break bread. So that's what I would highly encourage you guys to first do, is to create a list of content creators within the space that have a large audience and regularly engage. And over time, you just keep on posting, liking, and hopefully over time, you'll also be able to virtually meet them or meet them in person. So that's number one. Number two is to consistently post, which is obviously typically the hardest thing to do for most people. And oftentimes when I speak to people that are asking me questions regarding LinkedIn, they say, well, I don't really have anything to post. Maybe they're new to the space, or maybe they just don't have ways to generate ideas for what they should be posting on a daily basis. So what I typically recommend people do is that they follow the document strategy. And Gary Vaynerchuk pushes about this all the time, is that you don't necessarily have to be an expert in one thing. In particular, if you're newer to the space, you don't have to be necessarily an expert, but you can document your day-to-day, the things that you've done to kind of showcase what a day in the life of your vertical is, whether you're a commercial real estate broker or construction professional, whatever that is. So maybe you take a picture of yourself as you're waiting for a client on a showing and kind of highlight what's going on in the space. If you've listed the space, maybe you can explain some of the hurdles that you guys have overcome in order to lease the space. Again, documentation is the way to be able to generate content on a regular basis, because you may not have an accomplishment every week, but you document your day-to-day every week, right? I mean, you have things going on a day-to-day. So if you're able to document that over time, that's the best way to be able to generate content consistently. And usually what I recommend for people is, if you can post every day, that's great. But 2 to 3 times a week at minimum is a way to be able to start building that traction, start building that momentum. So over time, people can start following along with what you're doing on a day-to-day. So number 2 thing to do is consistently post and ignore the whole strategies of, oh, come up with all these different ideas. Document, document, document. So that's number 2. Number 3 is to leverage groups. I started a group called Commercial Real Estate 101. It was originally started as a virtual meetup that we still do every other week, where we invite speakers to talk about a variety of different concepts in commercial real estate. I've then converted that into a video format that I push out on YouTube, and also a podcast format that we distribute on Spotify, Apple Podcast, etc. So the benefit of leveraging groups is that you can start building a community. So right now, I think we're pushing 3,000 followers on the Commercial Real Estate 101 meetup group. And I'm telling you that I've been to different conferences. I've engaged with people outside of my local market, and they recognize me because of that group. They're either followers of the podcast. They've been in the group for quite some time. And even though they can't necessarily pinpoint me, they were like, oh, wow, like for some reason you look familiar. And then we talk about, our backgrounds, and they finally understand why that I'm familiar. And now I've also been able to have local people in the group as well. And that's helped me generate opportunities on the business end, because now they know that I'm a commercial real estate broker, and I obviously know what I'm talking about, and I engage with people who know what they're talking about. So it kind of creates that credibility and notoriety that you really need in order to have people trust you with potentially multi-million-dollar deals. And so as far as leveraging groups is concerned, try to find a way to creatively do something, whether that's, creating a meetup group, if it's a local real estate investor meetup, or a business summit meetup, or even a virtual like I did. Maybe you start inviting people to talk about the commercial real estate market in your local area, and you do that in a virtual format so that people can stay up to date on what's going on, and you continually engage and invite people to follow the group. And over time, it takes years. I mean, I'm 4 years into this journey already. We have roughly 3,000 followers, so it doesn't happen overnight. But if you continue the strategy over a long period of time, it can really, really pay dividends for you. So that's number 3, is to leverage group and to offer value on a regular basis. So ultimately, people want to continue to engage and follow along with what you're doing. And then finally, kind of a bonus one, number 4, newsletters. I've generated decent amount of opportunities in the last, let's call it 2 years since I've started my newsletter. As far as a newsletter is concerned, I typically incorporate some local news, some national news, and then share sales comps and sales data, as well as lease comps and lease data for the local market. And again, I've gotten to a point now where I've built up a pretty decent mailing list of people that I've sent out the newsletter to. And I get, every time I make a post on the newsletter, I share it with my email list and blast it on my social platforms. I get at least one person, but typically 2 to 3 people that reach out inquiring about certain things. Now, it doesn't always lead to business, but it creates that dialogue and it creates that engagement such that over time, I will eventually be able to generate business from it. So there's a lot of really cool functionality with newsletters on LinkedIn. It allows you to have people subscribe to your newsletter. Right now, I think we have 2,000 people that have subscribed to my newsletter. And again, just another way to be able to put yourself out in front of someone. And there's actually a video that I'll post up here that I explain how to create a newsletter such that it's not going to take you hours and hours and hours to do so. So go ahead and click up here, and you'll be able to see the video in full detail. But again, just another way to add value, another way to create engagement with your audience. And over time, if you follow these strategies, it will really lead itself well to be able to ensure that you build a personal brand and ultimately generate business via the platform. So hopefully you gained some value from this video. I would greatly appreciate if you can like and subscribe to this channel. It does make a huge impact on our ability to reach a broader audience. If you yourself are looking for commercial property here in Louisville, Kentucky and its surrounding areas, I'm a commercial real estate agent in town. I'd be happy to help you with your search. Feel free to give me a call back at 502-536-7315, or you can reach me via email at raphael@crisantigroup.com. Thanks again so much for tuning in, and we'll see you all next time.